Albania is Europe's fastest growing tourism hotspot. But did you know you can live here on a budget? We spent 5 weeks testing it out. 2 people, one incredible country. We ate killer local food, kicked back in epic cafes, and got to explore one of the most unique countries we have ever been to. This country's vibe is so unreal, we could have definitely stayed for longer. But can you actually live the good life in Albania for under $1,500 a month? That's what we're going to find out as we break down every expense. Local food, coffee, gym passes, and even activities. So we're going to get kick-started with accommodation, and for the purpose of this video, we're going to base it off what it would be like to spend an entire month in the capital city, Tirana, just because as you move around the country, prices really do vary a lot from, beach town to beach town. So for the purpose of this video, Tirana, if you were to stay there an entire month, you would be looking at an Airbnb price of around 680 USD. We stayed in a really great Airbnb. It had a kitchen, it had a great bedroom, bathroom, and everything that you need for a full setup for an entire month.
Yeah.
And that was around 40 USD per night. But of course, if you're going to stay longer, you can always get those longer term stay discounts.
And the apartment that we got was in the middle of the city. It was super walkable to absolutely everything. And if you wanted to find an apartment like that, you could just go on Airbnb and search for long-term stays and you'll find a heap of them. So the next thing we're going to talk about is our groceries. This is the food that we buy from the supermarkets or from the markets to cook our own food, because we cook pretty much 5 days a week. We eat breakfast, lunch and dinner at home. So if you go out and buy fresh produce, it's actually quite affordable in Albania. And I'll give you some ideas of the prices. For a litre of milk, you're paying about 2 USD. For bread, you can pay about $1 for a loaf. 10 eggs is about $2.50. Tomatoes is about $1.30 per kilo. Chicken thighs, you can pay $6 to $8 per kilo. And beef is around $10, $11 per kilo. Another thing that you do have to factor in is that water you cannot really drink from the tap, or you shouldn't really drink it from the tap. So you have to go out and buy it. You can get about a 10 litre for $2. You can pay a lot more actually if you go to the wrong places. So just make sure you find the cheap water. You can also organise water to get delivered to your house. So if you have a longer term stay, just talk with the Airbnb host and they'll get someone to drop off big things of water for you, and that can be pretty cheap too.
All right, now for eating out at restaurants. We don't like to do this too much because, like Ty said, we really enjoy cooking at home. One, it saves us a lot of money, but we also just really enjoy being healthy. So we only try to eat out around twice a week, just so that we can make sure that we are experiencing the local food as well,
Yeah.
Of course.
We do love it.
We love it. It's the best. And for our monthly spend on restaurants out, we spent around 160 USD. So that means around 20 USD per outing. One restaurant that we cannot recommend enough is Ira, and we are so excited because we're actually heading back to Albania for one night soon just to go to that restaurant. The pie is absolutely fantastic. It is, one of the most amazing places that we ate in all of Albania, and it's traditional, great food, and the prices are reasonable. I think we did spend around 20 USD for that entire meal, and we had a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and I think that if you want to go cheaper, you can always go to the bit more local places and spend even less. So if you went out for €1, you could pay for like €2-3, which is a bargain. There's they're not very expensive.
I think on our first night when we did arrive, we went out to just a nice little local restaurant, and we spent, I think it was 8 USD for the entire meal. So there's definitely options.
Yeah, so if you wanted to be frugal, you could easily just be a bit cheaper. While you're traveling around Albania, you'll want to do activities and things, to get a bit of entertainment. In Tirana specifically, there's a lot of things to do. You've got bunk art museums, these museums in the bunkers. You have this awesome experience called Albanian Nights, which we had so much fun at. But you have museums and all of these other sorts of things. You can go take the cable cars and get an epic view of Tirana. And all of these things are going to cost you around $5 to $15. It's around that price, which is, I think it's pretty reasonable for those sorts of activities. Then there's also a lot of free stuff. You can walk around this city. There's the pyramid of Tirana, which you can go see, or you can go see the square. You can do free walking tours. So there's a lot of stuff that you don't have to actually pay for, and you can still enjoy the city.
Now into transportation. Now we did hire a car for an entire month for our time in Albania, and that cost us 650 USD, which is pretty good for an entire month. But if you're staying in Tirana alone, we actually wouldn't recommend hiring a car. It was a nightmare having a car in Tirana.
You can't park anywhere.
Parking was horrible.
Crazy.
It was just so busy, and parking was expensive as well. So if you're basing yourself in Tirana, do not get a car. You do not need it because it is such a walkable city. There are so many buses around as well, and bus trips might cost you like close to like $1 USD per trip,
less.
even less.
Yeah.
And you can also get taxis as well. And for the short rides around Tirana, you're probably only looking at around $3 to $4 USD per trip.
One thing that's a real priority for Abby and I, other than coffee, is the gym. And we went to so many different gyms all over Albania, and they all had a pretty similar price. So if you're going for one day, you can pay around $5 US, or if you're going for a month, you're going to pay only around $30 to $40 US for the entire month per person. And most of the gyms were really, really good. We had some pretty epic with all the equipment that you need, very clean. One thing to note is that lots of these places will want you to bring a change of shoes or either wash your shoes as you come in, so something to keep note of, but they were great.
Yeah, and one thing that we did notice with the gyms as well, a lot of them are unmanned for a big percentage of the day. So we had to walk in sometimes and just pray that, you know, sometimes someone would show up and hopefully get us a pass. But it's pretty funny. There's no one here again. This happened in Tirana. They love their reception desks not to be manned. Free workouts for everyone.
Yeah, it is really funny. That happened three gyms in a row. We went there and no one was there.
But the gym was open.
The gym was open, and there was like either music on or the air conditioning was on. And so sometimes we would just start training and then someone would come in. One time this lady just ran, must have been running for ages in Parat. She saw us from ages away and she's like, oh, they looked like they were going to the gym. So she ran to go and let us in, even though we were already in. But anyway.
Now, we are absolute lovers of coffees, so we're going to break down our full coffee spend for the month, and we worked out that we spend around 120 USD a month on coffee, and that is looking at a coffee costs around 2 USD each per day. So
for a good one.
Tirana had such good coffee.
Yeah, what was that place? Coffee Lab.
Yeah, Coffee Lab
was a really good
one.
one.
We loved it.
The crazy thing about Albania is it has the most coffee shops per capita.
And the coffee is very good.
And the coffee is very good.
We have not had a bad coffee yet. And then if you're going to a bar or something and you want a few cheeky drinks, a beer might be costing you around 2 USD, and a glass of wine maybe around 4 USD.
Yeah. If you're wanting cocktails or anything imported, then you're going to pay more, and depending on the type of place that you go to, you can pay a lot. Like, we were at a beach club the other day and it cost us €15 for an Aperol Spritz. It was an absolute rip-off. Usually they're going to be around 6 to 9 USD for an Aperol Spritz, and then for a more fancy cocktail it can cost you a bit more. Some other costs that you're going to incur when you come here is ATM costs. So when you take money out of the ATM, every single time you'll get charged either 500 or 800 lek, which is about 6 to 8 USD. That's pretty expensive. So I would make sure you take out the biggest amount possible every single time. Otherwise, you can use your credit card at a fair few places, but most of the time, people in Albania are going to want you to use cash. They will specifically ask you to use cash and bring the exact change as well.
Even if the machine's right there.
Yeah, even if the machine's right there. Also, if you need the internet, you got to get a SIM card. Get one in town. Don't get one at the airport because they'll charge you a bunch for a tourist SIM card. You can get them. They cost about 15 USD for the month, and that's going to get you unlimited data.
So to finally answer the big question, can you stay in Tirana for around 1,500 USD for the entire month? And the answer is yes and no. So yes, if you don't hire a car and if you don't do day trips or anything, so if you're staying in Tirana and if you cook mostly at home, absolutely 1,500 is definitely manageable. But if you're wanting to explore a little, if you want to hire a car and maybe venture outside of Tirana and explore the rest of the beautiful country, then you're probably going to be paying just a little bit more, which we would recommend you do because we spent an entire month exploring Albania and we fell in love with so many places other than Tirana.
Actually, check out our itinerary.
Yeah, we've got a full itinerary. We loved Barat, we loved Tamara, we loved Saranda, we loved the Alps.
Yeah.
And we have other videos showcasing all of those adventures as well. So make sure you check them out.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments below, please drop them. We love it when you interact with our video. And then make sure you come and follow us on Instagram here because we are a lot more active there day to day too.
Yeah.
All
Thanks
right,
for
guys.
watching, guys. See you later.